Welcome back to another episode of the Beach Bros Wrestling Podcast. You're looking at two of the sexiest men you'll ever see. Here today, one of us is at the beach, one of us is at the house. That's all right. My name's Matt. On the other side of me on this screen is Hunter. Hunter, how are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm at the beach, so this video is even more fitting, and I'm quite thrilled to share my top five.
Yeah, man. We're in for a good one here today. As you saw in the video title and probably the description, this is the top 5 world championship matches from the WWE in the last 5 years. So starting from 2018, we're counting the WWE Championship, the Universal Championship, and the new World Heavyweight Championship was also up as an option. In this match, the format of this video is very simple. We talk about the 5 matches that we both picked, and this was picked through a ranking and a point system. In short, we both came up with a top 5 list, and then I used a point system using our number 1 match as the highest rated, so with 5 points. The number 2 match had 4 points. The third match with 3 points, fourth match with 2 points, and the fifth match with 1 point. So I added up our totals from our matches, and the ones with the highest amount of points were ranked accordingly. But we did have a couple ties. So when there was a tie in points, I used the higher rank to determine which one would go up higher. So I'm super excited about this video. I really just thought of the concept yesterday, but I've just fell in love with it since then. And we put together our lists, and it's going to be fantastic. And the cool part about this is that Hunter has no idea what the official list is. Like I have it
I
because
I don't know. Matt made it, so I don't know what the points is. I don't know what he put. He knows what I put, but I'm sure we got some similarities. Kind of think alike. And Matt came up with this idea yesterday. He hit me up. He was like, "Yo, let's do this video," and I'm like, "Let's roll. Let's make our list. Let's do it."
yeah.
I'm might be some hot takes here, but we'll see. Remember, me and Matt have our own opinions, as you guys might as well. So if you guys don't agree, oh
Drop
well.
it down. Let us know in the
Drop it
comments.
down.
We're
Let's see yours.
we're dying for comments, bro. So to let us know your top 5 list.
Absolutely fiending at the mouth for it.
We're just starting. We're in our adjustment period, but it's still we're gonna get up there, guys. Don't worry. Um, I was gonna say one more thing, but I forgot about it. So if I remember it, I'll bring it up. So what we're gonna do to start off this video, we're gonna start off. We had 7 different matches total that both of us wrote down on our lists. So that means 2 of them did not make the top 5 list. We will go through these relatively quickly compared to the top 5. But here are the 2 matches that did not make the top
Oh
5 list.
man, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is.
So our first one with 2 points is Daniel Bryan versus The Fiend at Royal Rumble 2020. That was Hunter's number 4 pick on his list. And that was the only points it got. So to explain why I didn't put on the list, I don't think it's the best Daniel Bryan World Championship match of the 5 that could be up here. And he's been involved in a lot in 2020 and 2021, but I think it was a great match. I think it was one of the best matches of that event. It's hard to beat that men's Royal Rumble though. But I think it was great. But I'm not sure if I put in my top 5. Hunter, let me know what are you thinking about when you put it at number 4?
All right. So I wanted to say that it was definitely Bray Wyatt's best match, and I'm a big fan of the strap match. You go back and you watch that match, the crowd was hot, it was believable, hard bumps, hard falls, and it was just a good match. It was intense, it was fast paced, it was vicious, it was grueling, and it was definitely the best wrestling we saw from the Fiend in his career. It was the character was fresh. Daniel Bryan just got his head shaved. He was a hot baby face, and it was a great match. Now, revolting to what you were saying about Daniel Bryan, if I had to say a match that I would have put Kofi Bryan in WrestleMania for story and feeling reasons. if we were doing elimination chambers, that 2019 elimination chamber was hot too. That was
Yeah.
a great match. But as for Bryan, obviously it wasn't Bryan's best match, but the way that him and Bray connected that night, how intense and fast paced and vicious it was, for me watching it, I was like, shit, who's gonna win? And it was intense. And that's why I put it at 4, just for like personal biasy.
No, I mean wrestling is all personal bias, right? So everybody has a different taste, which is great, which is why we all love it because we can compare and contrast. But I do agree with you that it was the Fiend's best match. The I You asked me about the Fiend, I'll always tell you the booking was atrocious. I was taught that Hell in a Cell match really made me sour on him very quickly. But that match at the Royal Rumble was great, and I think it was 2 times better than the one they had at Royal Rumble 2014, 6 years prior. But Hunter, it is funny you mentioned that Kofi versus Bryan at WrestleMania 35 because that was the other honorable mention on our list. That was my number 4 match. Uh,
Really? Are you
as you'll
serious?
find, yes, as you'll find out with my list, I have a couple of common themes with some guys here. Daniel Bryan being one of them, but I put it number 4. I think even just the moment alone of Kofi winning the WWE Championship is something that's going to be looked back on in history books with something with. I mean, you just can't help but smile. It's such an amazing moment. But the match, and not to mention the build up for the match, Kofi even getting that championship match after that incredible performance at Elimination Chamber, that took a lot too. So when it came time for the match itself, the drama was high. I mean, you could cut the tension with a knife. And Kofi was there. Xavier Woods was at not Xavier, not Kofi. Xavier Woods, Biggie was there ringside, cheering him on, while Daniel Bryan had Eric Rowan. Woo. Um, but that match was just so much more back and forth. I hadn't seen a Kofi Kingston match that looked that competitive on a main stage since 2010. I'd say 2010 when he was first getting that push. But I was in love with how Bryan just soaked in being the heel. How he wanted to make sure that Kofi didn't get his moment. And yet every time Kofi rose up and he got back and he was stronger and he hit the Trouble in Paradise 1, 2, 3, the crowd erupted. You would have thought it was the main event of WrestleMania 35. It was the second to last match. It should have been main event, but that's another opinion for another day. But that was my reasoning for it being at number 4. But you have any comments on that, Hun?
Yeah. The story was so good, man. Elimination Chamber 2019, I was like, holy crap, he's gonna win it, and he didn't. And then it was a story between Kofi, Brian Rowan, Biggie, Xavier, and then Vince McMahon. Vince was giving him the B+ player speech. I loved when the whole backstage area was watching this match, cheering him on, like R-Truth, Nikki Cross, some of the names I remember. Um, then the gauntlet match that Woods and E had to do if they won, and it was just such a good story. And then the Usos they let them pin, and then the match was great. Back and forth. You thought it was over on the knees, and they pulled the trigger, and Woods crying at the end. It was special, and it could have made it was top 6 for me.
No, that's understandable. It was a beautiful moment when his sons came out when he won the championship too. That was great. But I don't think anybody will ever forget the Usos saying, "We out. Good luck."
We out,
That was great. I mean, no one was
especially after
expecting.
that rivalry.
Right. And
Hmm.
that was the most compassionate we've seen the Usos since before their heel turn in 2016. So that was pretty damn cool. So that's the matches that didn't make the list. So how about the ones that did? Top 5 WWE Universal World Heavyweight Championship matches since 2018, the last 5 years. We get started right now with 4 points. At number 5, we have Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan at Fastlane 2021. This was my number 2 match on my list. And I will allow myself to explain. I think it is. Here's the thing: Roman versus Bryan happened 3 times in 2021. One of them was just after Bryan went through a 45-minute elimination chamber match, and he lost to Roman in 3 minutes. Although somehow it almost looked like he was going to beat him there. He fought him at Fastlane, and he fought him a couple weeks after WrestleMania. In his last match in the WWE, if he lost, he had to leave SmackDown, and that's when Roman debuted the new theme song and stuff like that. That was great. I loved every single one, but I think Fastlane was always my favorite. And I'm a big drama guy, and there's nothing more dramatic than Roman Reigns tapping out the only time he's tapped out during this reign. The ref didn't see it, but Bryan made him tap out. And it was enough to force himself into the WrestleMania main event for that year. It was going to be Roman Reigns versus Edge. Not to mention, Edge was the special guest enforcer for this match. Like at Fastlane, he was special guest enforcer. I think a lot of people forget that. Like he was involved at the end. He used the steel chair on both of them. He said everybody can come get these hands, and he went with it. But Bryan versus Roman, it started off slow like it usually does with a Roman match, but the intensity picked up so quickly, and Bryan was he was limb targeting. He was attacking his arm. He was attacking his shoulder. He was trying to make sure that he wouldn't have any strength left, so he'd be forced to tap out. And he did tap out, but the ref didn't see it. And so, as you know, Roman Reigns takes advantage of that. He gets the win. But good golly, if it wasn't my favorite Roman versus Daniel Bryan match, I'd be lying to you. It was better than the one they had at Fastlane 2015 by far. And that was a damn good match in itself. So I'm curious about your thoughts, Hunter, because I'm a big Daniel Bryan guy. But was that one if you had to pick one of the Roman versus Daniel Bryan, would you pick that one or would you pick something else?
Dude, honest to God, I didn't even think of that match whenever I made my list. It's kind of like something I just didn't really remember, but now that you're talking about it, definitely solid. It's not my favorite one though, just because of the predictability.
That's
I
fair.
honestly, my favorite one was the one on SmackDown, which you were just talking about with the Daniel having to leave, and there was rumors speculating it, but I didn't want to believe it, and I didn't believe it until I watched it. Um, I like also to me we talked about Triple Threat before the match. Triple Threat was pretty good. Um, but I mean, it didn't even cross my mind. So there's not really much reasoning why. It wasn't like something that was in my mind, but I just was gassing up Daniel Bryan in the Fiend, but I'm not a big DB guy. I'm never see that sounds bad, but I'm not huge on Daniel Bryan. And um I think that for you, Matt, and how you love him, that is a perfect number two. But for me, nah.
No, I
I
get it.
got other Roman matches on here.
I mean, Roman's been champ for the past 3 years. If we didn't have a match with Roman in it, on this list, it would be pretty despicable. So I think we're in good hands there. Yeah, I know. We had this conversation a couple weeks back about how if you had to pick between AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, you would pick AJ Styles every time. And I would pick Daniel Bryan every time. And it's not like we think the other one is just not a good wrestler. It's just conflicting interests, So it's cool. It's cool though. But that was my number two. So coming in at number four on the list with 5 points. We had ties for first and second, by the way. So I'm doing the ranking order with 5 points, lower ranked than this other match. We have the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns WrestleMania 39 main event. It was my number three. Sorry, my number five, and it was Hunter's number four. Sorry, number two. Hunter's number two. And we Hunter and I were not in the same location when this match happened, but I could feel his excitement through the phone while we were live texting. And you could feel mine because Hunter, I'm about to lead this off to you, but I think this was the biggest main event fight feel for a WWE match in a long time.
Absolutely. Oh man. I was sitting there on the couch. Excuse me. I was sitting there on the couch watching, and me and Matt were spam texting. We're like, dude, it's time. Roman's dropping his belt. It's time. It's time. And we were so excited. We had 1% thought in our mind that Roman was going to win that belt. We had zero idea. And the match lived up to it. It started out slow like a and then it picked up. Drama, drama, drama. Cody and Roman, what's better? Main event of WrestleMania, big fight feel. We thought the title reign was coming to an end. We thought the bloodline was going to implode. And then Cody goes in there. Solo's not in ringside. He does the dusty elbow, 3 crossroads, and then Solo comes and ends it. Now, if Cody won this match, I think Matt would have put this like higher, but I think Matt does not like the ending. I still, looking hindsight, I do like the ending, but I I think that in retrospect that it was the right idea, but sorry, I lost my train of thought. But Roman, um, as like my mom walked in, I lost my train of thought. Um,
We have to acknowledge our
resulting,
moms.
hold on a second. The thing, I forgot my thought.
I
You
got
take
you.
over.
I got you. I got you. So I loved every moment of this match. And you said it best. I probably would have put it higher if Cody did win. But yeah, that ending did leave me a little sour. I'm not usually a big fan of the guys getting thrown out and then they come back. I'm not
Mhm.
really I'm not really big on that. But if there was a match to pull it, I understand why it would be this one. And Solo's a relatively fresh new face. Hasn't even been a year yet since he's been on the main roster. I understand why they did it, but I mean, they pulled the perfect reaction out of me. That's what they want out of their audience. I was watching with Bennett and a couple of friends, and we watched Roman spear Cody, and it went 1, 2, 3. Our room was dead silent. I don't think anyone talked for at least 2 minutes. And we were all
Yeah.
like we didn't know what to say.
Like
And
what
then
the heck
finally,
has happened?
yes. And then Roman walks out, holds up the double titles. The fireworks go off. We're like, holy shit, Cody didn't win. What happens now?
They
So of
swerved
course,
us.
right. So of course, the logical explanation is Brock Lesnar attacks him. They start a 4 month rivalry.
Oh yeah,
That's what
totally.
happened.
It made sense, and Brock never showed up on TV. But I remember I was going to say,
Let me hear
I
it.
remembered that in 2022 when he debuted at WrestleMania, I was texting you weeks ahead because I was a Cody fanboy. I was like, Matt, he's debuting. Be ready. And obviously you know a lot about Cody, but I was I was ready and I really wanted him to win. And we met Cody. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all might know that if you watch this.
I'll put up a picture right here of us meeting Cody. I can do that now. So it's pretty cool. But you'll probably see it in like a short or something. But yeah, Cody's great. We love him. And this is his only appearance on the top 5 list, considering he's only had one match for it. So it does make a lot of sense in the past 5
That
years.
just shows how good he is, guys.
Right. It's going to make the return match even better. So as we move on to number 3 on the list, this match also has 5 points. It is number 3, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, SummerSlam 2022. This was Hunter's number 1, and it was not on my list.
Bro,
So
how is it not on your list? That might have been the most entertaining match I think I've ever watched.
I
It was right
think
when Trips got into commissioner and Brock comes out in a freaking forklift and forklifts the ring. How the hell is that to start a last man standing match?
that was insane. I mean, the reason it's not on my list, I always go for like the dramatics, the theatrical aspects here. And I mean, but I'll tell you what, I was in awe. I was in awe that entire match. I think it was like 35, 36 minutes, and I couldn't keep my eyes off. It was just insane. Just the fact that they had 8, 9 different matches up to this point, and yet they said, every single match we just did with each other, forget all of that because here's everything that's new. it's hard to unsee the ring getting lifted up by a forklift and put on one corner. But Hun, it was your number one. Give me some more, man. What else you got about this match? I mean,
God,
what's your number
from
one?
the entrance in the forklift, for him going, Brock Lesnar, throwing the mic, Roman catching it, giving him the wink, lifting the ring, he falls out. Barricades got smashed, rings, announce tables got destroyed. Brock literally had to get stacked by everything on ringside. Paul Heyman got F5. Uh, I mean, dude, it was just there was not a dull moment. It was carnage, and I love entertainment. And that was one of the most entertaining matches. I did not want it to end. I could not take my eyes off it. And I was like, holy shit, they're killing each other. And dude, it was a hell of a match. It has a special place in my heart. Even though I knew Roman wasn't going to lose, it's still, this is what WWE does. And it happened again, it happened to me with Matt Riddle and Roman on SmackDown. I don't know if you remember that match.
Oh, I do. It was great.
You know that someone's going to win, and then you hear the crowd and you see the match play out, and then you're like, holy shit, I'm not sure anymore. And that happened, that match. It was so entertaining. It was good wrestling. It was their best match story-wise, wrestling-wise, entertainment-wise, besides 2015. 2015 has a special place in my heart too, but well, it might have been 2015.
It's 15.
WrestleMania 31. Yeah,
Yeah.
heist of the century. But yeah, hell of a match. I like stuff like that. Like you're more like entering. I like entertainment. Like if you can entertain me like that, where it's like a movie to me, because I know you're number one, and I regret not putting it higher.
I think, yeah. Yeah,
That match was.
know what it is, yeah.
If we could have watched that match together, I think it would be number one for me. Because I
I
was
think
pissed. I was pissed because App State just lost to UNC, and I didn't get to
so.
enjoy it as much. And I'm like,
Oh,
here we go.
yeah. Wasn't that like the 56-51 game? Just like it was
Yeah,
crazy scoring.
63-61.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember I remember everything about that day now. We'll go a little more in depth about that. But for Brock versus Roman at SummerSlam, like you said, entertainment value. I think what's great about it, I think it has the best rewatch value I've ever seen out of a match.
Oh, dude,
Best value.
absolutely. And it's definitely the most replayed match on WWE Net. Like they post it all the time.
It has to be. And it got so many views just for the forklift lifting up the ring alone. Not to mention everything else that happened in that match. You know, it's so crazy. Listen, I'm not saying this because I'm an Austin Theory fanboy or whatever. Austin Theory tried cashing in his money in the bank during that match, and he got clobbered.
I forgot about that.
It was pretty easy to because
He
he
got
got clobbered,
clobbered a
and
lot.
yeah, he did. He did. But um, at one point we thought, oh, he's gonna cash in, and then he got messed up. So we kind of just took him out of the equation. But I mean, they took the last man standing match to extremely high expectations because I don't think you're gonna be able to top a last man standing match after that one. It's tough because I don't after this point you have to like start just destroying the entire arena. You have to start bringing down the sets. You have to split the ring
Yeah,
open.
Shane McMahon fall from the ceiling.
Right, right. There's a lot you got to. Did you know that happened in Raleigh, by the way?
What?
That Shane McMahon fall and Steve Blackman him in the
Oh,
Kendrick. That
yeah,
happened.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was at PNC. That was SummerSlam
I
2000.
think. Yeah, I think it's 2000.
The TLC happened in Raleigh,
Yeah,
guys. Let's
dude,
remember that. That
we weren't even alive yet. We're
the
missing
Hardy
out.
Dudleys Edge Christian that
Yeah,
happened in Raleigh, North Carolina.
yeah. Put some respect on our name.
Wasn't it Kurt?
Uh,
Main event was Brock, Rock, and Kurt or some shit.
nah, Brock wasn't there yet.
Oh, it was Kurt Angle, Rock, or was it
It was.
Rock and
I can't
Triple
remember,
H?
but that's it. Any of those names sound right. But yeah, Brock versus Roman. Um, like you said, you're an entertainment guy. I'm also a big entertainment guy, but I like being entertained through a good story in the ring, which is two different things, and that's fine because that's why.
Which is
That's
probably
why.
our next match.
Yes, yes. Our number two match on our list, which was actually both number three on our list, with 6 points. It literally just happened, but oh my God, I think about it every day. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship, SummerSlam 2023. As of today, this has been less than a week since this match happened. And yet, it is all we can think about. This match banged. I mean, we had a watch party. We had some friends over. We were watching SummerSlam, and even one of our friends who wasn't even like into nowhere near into wrestling as we were was invested in this match. This was insanity. I mean, Hunt, just go right away. I need you. Just oh, you're good. Oh, you're out. I got this. So with this match here, Seth and Finn, we've seen this match 15 times already. We've seen, I mean, this year alone, we've seen it 8 times. But I've always said this, that every time they put on a match, it's new and it's fresh and it's exciting. But they blew it out of the water when it came to SummerSlam this year. And we thought there was going to be a new champion 5 times over. And then we thought Rollins was going to successfully defend. And then Finn was kicking out of everything. I mean, usually when you kick out of finishers that much, it like lessens the value. I don't think that happened this match because with everything, every single antic that was going on in this match, the Judgment Day, Seth trying to fight them off, Rhea, Damian with the briefcase, the tension there. I mean, it was unreal, and we didn't want it to end. And we definitely think it was our best match of the night for SummerSlam. Not to mention one of the best championship matches in years. But Hunt, what else do you got about this match?
I'm about to drop a bomb. I'm gonna say because I was watching it with best friend Matt and other friends, it definitely is my favorite match I've ever watched. And that's gonna be a mic drop. Live with the friends I was watching with, favorite thing I've ever watched. We were so entertained. We were standing up, we were yelling. We thought it was over with this curve stomp. We thought it was over with the coup de grace. It was just perfect. They stopped. WWE stopped with the finisher kicking out of, which I like. I like that they like lessen that for bigger moments. But Rollins and Rollins and Balor, it was so good. Them coming out and then Rollins being this superhero, fending them off and beating Finn. It was like Rollins is building a character off heist, like getting away, barely getting by. And going into the match, I wanted Balor to win, but seeing how kick-ass performance Rollins did and how he fended them off and looked like a real like Rollins was a paper champ until then, in my opinion. He solidified himself as the top guy on Raw, in my opinion. It was
Okay.
great, and I'm excited to see where the story goes.
No,
Hell of a
I am too.
match.
I am too. And I think you had a great analogy for it. It did make Rollins look like an actual superhero. But it wasn't
Mhm.
like Super Cena where he just buried everybody else and like
No, no.
stuff.
It made Finn stronger too. It was an
Right.
insane match. And um it it was exactly what we needed in this feud. It was so good. It should have been main event. Like that's how good it was. It was I can go on about it. I've never been more entertained by a match. Well, okay. Entertained's not the right word. I've never been so invested in like back and forth. Like who's gonna win 50-50.
Okay. Okay. I was gonna say because you just said that Brock
Yeah,
Lesnar
no.
versus Roman
Yeah,
Reigns
yeah,
was
yeah. Like
most
entertained
entertaining.
Brock Roman, but like your kind of like storyline kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then this next match, Matt, I hate to break it to y'all, but me and Matt are both very like we love us some Randy Orton Jinder Mahal Fujabi prison match.
My favorite part about that match is when the Great Khali, Randy Orton had to climb down to the Great Khali. The Khali couldn't climb up to him. He had to
Because he
climb
couldn't
down.
climb up the fence.
It,
And then, dude, honorable mention, Karrion Cross.
what does he have an honorable mention for? He hasn't been in a championship match. He's been in NXT championship matches. No,
Honorable
he
mention, Karrion Cross, Carl Anderson, SmackDown.
oh my God. That's the most entertained I've been by a match between two people I don't care about. for
Probably
what was
because I was hyping it up the whole time. I was like,
yeah.
dude, look at elbow.
This is gonna go crazy. Oh, here comes the cross jacket. Silence. That's what you
The
need for a
crowd goes
championship
mild.
match. The crowd, the crowd was just so invested they didn't want to mess up Cross's focus.
Like climbing down the Kali. Like
Yeah.
that's how mild it was.
Oh my gosh, dude. Before we get to this number one match, I have to say this because you brought up his stupid name. Jinder Mahal was the worst WWE champion of all time in my book. I don't think you convinced me otherwise.
The stupidest shit ever. Who thought? Who in creative thought it was a good idea to give the belt to Jinder Mahal? He did nothing. Nothing for the belt. Zero. Uh, his story, the best thing from his title reign was Randy dropping one of the Sin brothers on their head.
Right, and he did that every week.
Yeah,
And
he lost. Randy just won the belt, then he drops it, and then they have a Pujami prison match. Like he said, Randy, instead of getting away from Khali, goes down to him so he can reach up to him. And then who's next? Was it
Shinsuke
who's
Nakamura.
Shinsuke? Not it's the worst promos ever
That
between
was
those
rough.
two. And then AJ Styles stays as the night champions. Like
We needed that because that was the definition of reign of terror. That was a 6-month title reign. Jinder Mahal. They trusted him with that championship for 6 months in 2017. What are they thinking? Why would you do that? And he had to beat Randy Orton 3 times in the process.
and Randy just won the belt. He just beat Bray
Right.
Wyatt, who just won the belt.
Right.
The WWE title lost a lot of pristine during that time.
Absolutely it did. Let's not forget the 8-second cash in match when Corbin tried to cash in on Mahal and then Cena distracted him. Yeah.
And then oh it that was in my opinion the worst time of wrestling. Like SmackDown was good, but it just title reigns were very carry on.
As soon as Jinder won that title, Raw automatically shot up the charts in how much I wanted to watch it compared to SmackDown. Because SmackDown was the hotter product going into that time. They had all of 2016. They ran the ratings. They put on the better storylines. Everybody knew it. But as soon as Jinder Mahal won that belt, even though Brock Lesnar was Universal Champion on Raw, they didn't even have a World Champion for months at a time. It was still much more entertaining than Jinder Mahal was WWE Champion. And that's just the truth.
And Matt, you don't even like Brock as champion. You still
Right.
wanted to watch that instead.
He was doing the part-time stuff. He went 3 months without even showing up with the Universal Championship. He didn't even show up till SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Well,
it was a rough
yeah.
time for wrestling. In my
Yeah.
opinion, 2017 was. And then 2018, what happened? Bobby Lashley debuted back. Balor was back. And who won?
Yeah.
And then Shinsuke Nakamura won the. All right, don't even get me started.
We could go all day about this. I promise you we could. Because we might have to we can make a whole video about 2017, 2018, what went wrong, what should have went right. Because we could go all day about this. And we could do that for every year, let's be honest. Like,
Hey,
this chemistry's
this
crazy.
video gets 3 likes. We will make that video next week.
We have such a low bar.
Yes, we have to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere, is right. And everything you start also has to finish, and that includes our top 5 lists. We have our number 1 match on the list, 1 match remaining. Hunt, I'm pretty sure you know what it is at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
I know what it is. If the fans don't know, our number 1 match, a number 1 championship match that includes the WWE Universal or World Heavyweight Championships of the past 5 years since 2018. Our number 1 match. This was Hunter's number 5. This was my number 1.
Which I regret. I want it to be higher. I would put it like 2.
You put it at 2 now? Okay.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, if I could have watched it with friends, it would have been 2.
Yeah. I think watching with people would certainly help. The atmosphere is crazy. But we are talking about Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Clash of the Castle 2022. An all-around pretty solid event. Because, I mean, in the undercard, you had Sheamus versus Gunther for the first time.
Oh, man.
We could gush about that. But this was the perfect main event for where they were in Cardiff, Wales. Hunter and I were at a SmackDown for the lead up to this show. We saw Drew McIntyre compete. We saw him take out the Usos backstage. It was we felt the energy, so I think we had a little bit more of a personal connection to this match as it went on. McIntyre comes out to Broken Dreams for the first 30 seconds or so. Had a whole package to that. Fans were loving that. You had the whole crowd. As soon as the match started, ring the bell. You heard, "Oh, Drew McIntyre! Oh, Drew McIntyre!" They
Yeah, that's
had
all
that
you could
going.
hear is
Right.
blasting.
Roman Reigns was going bananas. He was like, "No, stop it!" But they did. He was in Drew's home field advantage, and it showed. And that match, top to bottom, top to bottom, the greatest championship match I've seen in the past 5 years. The crowd definitely plays a role in that, but not to mention these two guys know how to work so beautifully together. They have great chemistry. They had a match at Survivor Series 2020, tore the house down. But when it came time for this match with McIntyre as the challenger and not a champion, the chase, he was this close to beating Roman multiple times. Multiple times. You had the entire crowd on his back. It was like he was carrying the weight of Europe on his back, not to mention all his American fans.
Cardiff.
Right, in Cardiff. You gotta love it. Roman Reigns didn't have the Usos. All he had was Paul Heyman. And a little bit later in the match, you had Solo Sikoa, who ended up helping Roman win, as we know, part of the bloodline.
Debut.
But yeah, I mean, at one point, Austin Theory also came down. He was getting ready to go in, cash in, and then gets boom knocked out by Tyson Fury of all people. Because why? Because fuck you. That's why Tyson Fury knocked out Austin Theory. That was great. But like I said, man, it's just so hard. I look at all these matches on this list; they're all so great. But I think I just had this match in a different stratosphere. I remember exactly where I was when this match happened, when it ended, how I was feeling. I remember everything. And when I have a match like that, I will always like that can make me remember stuff like that. That's how you know it was goated in my book. But Hunt, let me hear it from you.
Speaking of Tyson Fury, well, I'm just not even gonna go into it. My I love him as a boxer, but when he came in and he knocked out Braun Strowman, I'm still pissed about that. I'm a Braun Strowman mark.
It was not a good match either.
So
What they had in Saudi.
moving forward, um, I was in a shitty mood before this match. It it was App State's lost to UNC, and I was not happy. And I was watching alone, and I remember this match. Broken Dreams, my favorite WWE song ever. He comes out. There's no Usos. I'm like, it's over, guys. It is. This is like. I also thought it was over, and the match was great. Near falls. Drew pinned Roman with no ref.
Right.
Um, I thought Drew was going to win. It was a great, hard hitting, great match. Like you said, I think this is what happens when you let Drew shine and let him take over. Because this is what the babyface he should be. This is early 2020, mid 2022. Uh, home field, crowd was hot. We saw the debut of Solo, and I recall Matt's text. Matt was fuming, fuming.
Yep.
He was really mad, not happy. We were like, we're not watching anymore. We're done with wrestling. We said it, and then obviously we tuned in Monday Night Raw. But
Yep.
I remember and guess who was at ringside, Matt?
Oh.
Karrion Kross.
Ah.
Karrion Kross was at ringside.
Ethan.
We saw Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross at Extreme Rules. Instead of Drew McIntyre versus Solo Sikoa, we saw Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross at Extreme Rules. That's what we saw instead of what made sense, guys.
You just reminded me because Karrion Kross definitely threw a water bottle at Drew McIntyre when they're on the outside. It's like, oh, he threw a water bottle. And I'm just like, really? Oh my god. You know what? Yeah, because the week before we went, Karrion Kross just attacked Drew McIntyre. He made his debut, and he left his little hourglass on the ring apron to Roman. He's like, TikTok, and he didn't even talk to him after that. That was why. I could make 30 minutes about why I just dislike Karrion Kross, but
He's such a good dude in person though. Like disclaimer, like he is a good guy. He does a lot for the media. If you haven't seen it, watch him surprise Jeff Hardy at his concert. It's
yeah,
good. It's a good video. But we both can't stand him as a wrestler. I kind of do it because it gets under his skin. I
yeah,
could care less. I'd rather watch paint dry, but he was at ringside.
he
And
was
instead of
there.
Drew being pissed about losing and challenging Roman or facing Solo, he got a pay-per-view match with Karrion Kross, which I think he lost.
He did
I
lose
don't
though.
think he won.
Yeah. He won the return match in a steel cage, but it was too late by that point. Um, damage was done. But that's our list. And Hunt, I think it's a pretty damn good list. Roman Reigns is in 4 out of the 5 matches.
Which shows, yes, he's been champ for a while, but guys, there's some good matches.
There's a reason why he's been champ this long. Like, if he was just mic work, he wouldn't be the champ for almost 3 years now. Like this, it takes being good at ring psychology and knowing what you're doing in the ring. And him being a locker room leader also plays a great role in that as well. So him being in these matches makes perfect sense to me. So before we end it, I'll run it through one last time. Our top 5 matches, top 5 championship matches of the last 5 years. Number 5, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan, Fastlane 2021. Number 4, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, WrestleMania 39. Number 3, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam 2022. Number 2, Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2023. And number 1, Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns at Clash of the Castle 2022. Overall, damn good list. Now talking about these, I want to rewatch every single match we just talked about.
Me
What
too.
about you, Juan?
Which I think we should do next time we hang out.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. But that'll be it for us here today. Hunt, I had a great time doing this video, man. I hope you feel the same. I thought we made a great list here.
Great time.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching, checking us out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, comment, like the video. Also, I will subscribe to you back. Like, come on, like it's a
Guys,
good deal here.
Just subscribe. It takes 1 second. We need it.
Yeah, we need it. We need the numbers to go up. We're also going to take our show off the air. So let's get it up there. But thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you, and we'll catch you on the next one.